So Louis Biel-Barré had 52 points in fantasy and Jalibert 51. Did you captain either of them by any chance?
I need to make a public apology.
Hello and welcome back to Scrumbelievable. The Guinness Mens Six Nations is back with a bang and we're right behind it, riding its coattails like the Nepo Baby podcast that we are. This week, we have one very familiar face joining the studio. Our resident Welshman, Ben from Counterruck. He's back again.
I'm living here at this point. It's lovely. I just haven't left since last week. I've just been here the whole time.
Just a quick change of the top.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's got to be said, Ben, you have saved us at the final hour because what time were you called this morning?
9:30 and then train at about 10:30
from Cardiff.
From Cardiff, yeah. I'm sleeping off a bit of a Super Bowl hangover from last night, but hey, we move on. It's for the Six Nations. I don't mind it. I'm more than happy.
Well, I'm eternally grateful because prior to you, we had two Englishmen sat here, so
yeah,
at least
exactly.
I've got a bit of backup when we come to that game. Now, we also have a Scrumbelievable debutant in Tayo sat over here. So first of all, welcome to Scrumbelievable, Tayo.
It's a pleasure to be here. Yeah.
Now, your story is pretty interesting. So you are a content creator who is documenting his journey from a football player to a rugby player. Yeah. That's not your usual transition.
No, not at all. Unintentional as well. I say to my girlfriend and people who ask me about how you started this journey, I don't actually have a personal social media account. So Instagram, TikTok, I don't really know how it operates or what happens. But my girlfriend, well, let me not jump ahead of the gun. I started playing rugby in the summer and my girlfriend thought it'd be a cool idea to document the journey.
Wait, so we're talking about like 6 months ago?
Yeah, 6 months.
That was mental.
Yeah.
And you've never played rugby before?
Played,
Do you know
did
you know the rules of rugby?
I didn't know. Used to watch the Six Nations on the train up to work. Used to watch the biggest hits. They used to do like a
the
segment.
compilations stuff, yeah.
Used to like watching that. But then other than that, didn't have a clue about rugby. I thought, might as well give it a go. Fancy the challenge. Played football for 20 odd years. So thought maybe there's some sort of transferable skills. So jumped onto it. But was inspired heavily by a good friend of mine, Paul Brown-Bampo, played at Exeter Chiefs. So was watching him down at Sandy Park. He inspired and encouraged me to play, so I thought I'd give it a go. And then, shout out to my girlfriend for documenting the journey and starting that process. And here we are now.
How have you found the transition? Was there anything you sort of like, or perception you had about rugby, and then once you started and it like completely changed, or?
I thought that the culture was going to be harder to integrate into. So coming from a footballing background, I was very like aware of the banter and the like chat around the football change rooms, and I thought, don't know how I'm going to fit into a rugby change room. But honestly, it's been amazing. That's what I say to anyone who messages me on Instagram. And they're a little bit worried about that. I say, just give it a go. Like, this is the most welcoming, incredible community. Like, couldn't rate it more. No. And probably the thing that made me keep on playing many times where I thought, like, I just can't get this. I want to give up. But all of the boys so supportive and so welcoming and an amazing community and love being part of it. So,
Tayo,
here we are.
We love to hear it.
Yeah,
You've joined the dark side. Welcome.
Apparently so.
Now, we're going to get into last weekend's fixtures, but before we do that, this is my favourite part of the show, and it is our Scrumbelievable moment of the week. And it comes in the form of Ellis Genge and Thomas Williams. So, producer, roll the tape.
Okay. No fault play.
Well, it's cynical on the part of Thomas Williams, but he's not the first man to have done it.
No.
I think that was probably a highlight of the match.
Yes, it was. But my favourite part of it is it was such a soft throw, but you could just see Genge was vexed.
Yeah, literally. He was just sat there, just like, come on. But like, what am I doing? What are we doing here? But no, good bit of game shot. That's what you want from your 9. Just a bit of a wind up, always doing something. But perfect.
I mean, I think the one thing we've all learned from that is don't wind up Ellis Genge.
Very true.
Good advice.
Yeah, I wouldn't be anyway.
No, I think that's a good place for us to start. But before we get into the fixtures of the weekend, we're going to do it in reverse order. But it really kicked off in fine form. We had 3 home victories with France, Italy and England taking the win. And Tayo, I'm sure you're very glad to hear that we're going to start over at the Allianz Stadium. With
Take it easy.
Quite the emphatic win over Wales. It ended 48-7 in the end. Now, both of you were there, right?
Yes, we were, yeah.
Oh, two contrasting sides here.
I think you had a lot better a day than I had.
And Have you been to a match at the Allianz before?
I have. I went to the Autumn Nations series.
Cool.
Watched Fiji play against England and also Argentina. So they were my 2 first ever games at the Allianz.
I tell you what, for a guy who only started playing rugby about
know.
6 months ago, the fact that you've been to the Allianz Stadium 3 times
Yeah,
is
you're
quite
one of the most,
impressive.
Yeah, the whole like rugby world has just like consumed me. I remember the first couple of days after starting, bumped into Sia Khaleesi, Damien, Sasha.
No way.
And then they all like reposted my page onto their page, and then it's just been this whirlwind of being consumed by rugby. But love it, absolutely love it.
Oh, that's brilliant, man.
And how about you, Ben? A Welshman in England on a day like that. Did you still manage to enjoy it?
Enjoy might be a stretch, but we were walking into like the area we were sat, and then I just had I had the like Welsh fully like retro jersey on, ready to go. And then after that first shot, I just like put the jacket on, like zip it up, like I was just hiding, or like I'm just like 80,000 English fans just surrounding me, just like looking around, just trying to hide.
Unfortunately, Ben, as soon as you open that mouth of yours, you really can't hide.
Yeah, I know. Even in Wales, people are like, oh yeah, you can. That's just thick Welsh accent. I'm like, I don't think it's too bad. And then I rewatched the podcast. I'm like, yeah, it is that bad.
No, we love it. It's warm and friendly. But Tayo, as an English supporter, how impressed were you with that performance from England? Or do you feel like you can't really compare because Wales just didn't really bring it too great?
I don't know. I went back and watched the game because I guess when you're in the stadium trying to film and make content, you're not really paying too much attention about what's going on. And just looked at some statistics of England just in general and can see that they're on a winning streak. And from playing sport at quite a high level, I think consistency and confidence goes a long way. And England have got that in abundance, and I think Wales are just lacking it. And chucking a bit of inexperience, a young team, talking to some of the fans outside. I discovered what a wooden spoon is. Didn't even know what that was. So
we know it very well.
he said the only thing we're going to be winning this season is a bit of cutlery. Yeah. The wooden spoon. I said, what do you mean? And then he explained the context behind that. But I think England are riding on a couple of good wins and some confidence. But I think Wales can always come back, young squad, and see what happens in a few years.
And you can see the way they're playing. Like off the back of that Autumn Nations series, they were riding high, and then it was the perfect fixture for them. You know, expectations are sky high going into it, but sadly, it was the perfect fixture for them to really make a statement. And sadly, it came at our expense, really.
That's 12 wins for England. So they're on a
good run.
Good run, to say the least, Tayo. And I feel like a special mention has got to be said for Arundel. He had a hat trick. My personal favourite was Shane Williams trying to pronounce his name on the commentary. You guys would have missed that because you were actually at the stadium, but it was like
a Arundel or something.
Yeah, Arundel. I was just like, Shane, man, come on, you could do better than that. It was Welsh accent. It's so funny. Of course, he would like Welshify Arundel.
Trying to just throw a bit of shots, maybe, but after a hat trick, there's not much we can say, really, is it? But like I said, it's just frustrating as a Welsh fan seeing there, because you look how well that game plan with the high butt and the kick chase that they have. It's frustrating because it's almost like we try to play them at their own game, and with that style of play they're playing, there's almost no one better in the world at the moment playing that way. And it's just the way we are at the moment. We don't have that sort of level of play to match them. You've got the likes of George Ford, an incredible man of the match performance. You know, Roebuck stepping in last minute for Fabo, so made a real impact. Arundel, but it was a frustrating game. But like I said, the way they're playing right now, they're a very tough side to beat, 100%.
They are. And speaking of George Ford, we all know how much I love him. But like you said, he was player of the match, and he was also the fantasy MVP and of the whole of round one, and he had 55 points. So, I mean, his stats speak for themselves.
Exactly. And you go back over, because I know how much you hate that he's never been on the Lions tour, but it's mental to say that being left out of a Lions tour can almost be the best thing that's happened to him.
The fire.
Because you look at that Argentina tour, he carries that side, and then ever since then, you've got the young bucks there with like of Finn Smith, Marcus Smith, that are knocking on the door. Well, after that performance, he's kind of shut that door and made that 10 shirt his own. And then coming in, engineering that massive win against the All Blacks in the autumn, and now coming into it, it's a lot of the chatter about the best 10 in the Six Nations was it felt like a 2-horse race with Jalabert or Finn Russell. There's Ford coming on the outside lane with these performances, and he's really engineering that
Has
side.
he always been that good? Because I remember watching the Six Nations documentary on Netflix, and he was kind of on the fringes. Marcus Smith was maybe going to play, and then When did he start to take
I feel like
off?
he's really been coming into his own, like you said, off the back of the summer. But he's always, he's had a long old career as well, which I suppose has had highs and lows. Now, we got to, unfortunately, Ben, touch on Wales. And discipline was the real issue. So there was 4 yellow cards. Twice, they only had 13 men on the pitch, and there was a total of 16 penalties.
Tough.
It's a hard line to say as a Welsh woman. But, I mean, it's got to be said, discipline is the real issue, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, it's frustrating, when you try and you want to get a good start, and expectations were low going into the game. Like, I think, we all kind of accepted it was going to be a tough game. There's a certain standard that you want to be putting out at international rugby, and the discipline is you have to control the controllables in international rugby. And when it's just silly penalties or just minor mistakes, it was that minute where we had 2 yellow cards, and then all of a sudden all the momentum shifts, and it just snowballs, it feels like. Once 1 or 2 things go against you and there's a couple of mistakes, it just goes throughout the whole team. I was just really frustrating to watch, because you want to kind of see 5 or 10 minutes we can string together good plays, but the penalties just instantly take any life out of the attack. So, it's something we can work on, but I think it's something that we really have to work on if we want to, because it's been the last couple of games now with the penalty counters, international rugby, you can't get away with it. If you're conceding high double-digit penalties, you're never going to win at the international level. So it's definitely something Tandy needs to work on for us.
And what is that, just experience or inexperience from a young squad?
I think, especially with the environment you're going into there, big game, you're getting a lot of inexperienced players, and sometimes the moment can be a tough one, no matter how experienced you are, even with the likes of Dewi Lake, some mistakes there. It's frustrating, but you look at the pressure this England side puts you under. It's nightmare. Going against that back row, Underhill, Pepper, Ben Earl was incredible again on the weekend. They're just constantly putting you under so much pressure that there's a lot of unforced errors, but the pressure they're putting on us, you have to give credit to the England side there just as much.
Yeah, and I think as soon as you start getting those penalties early doors, it almost, that kind of creates the momentum of penalties, and you are almost on the wrong side of the ref as well, I think. Now, you touched on Dewi Lake there, but he actually said after the game, we said at the end of the game that we let ourselves down and people at home down. Do you think that's harsh, or do you think that people were expecting more for them on the weekend?
Well, I think it's quite fair, and it pains me to say it, but like we were talking about it last week, the expectation, we weren't judging the Six Nations on a lot of wins and losses. You're judging it about, 80 minutes on the pitch, what are we producing? What's the sort of performance we're stringing together? And, you can excuse maybe, some tactical decisions with that, some frustration. But stuff like controlling, the heart, the discipline and stuff, that's where it comes from, frustration. And we were in the press conference after the game, and you could feel the pain in his voice when he was saying it. The frustration is there. And, it's a tough one going on to France next week, which we'll get into a bit later. But I think it's something that you could feel the pain in that Welsh side. And I think he knows it's a tough time for Welsh rugby at the moment, but letting the fans down, I think it's something we can only work on and try and, like I said, a win for us is winning the fans back on our side, the Six Nations. We've got 4 more weeks, so hopefully we can string something together.
There we go. End on a positive, Ben. Now, we're going to move it to my favourite match of the weekend. That was out in Rome, Italy versus Scotland. It was a real nail-biter in the end. Italy won 18-15. Did you guys catch that one?
I managed to catch a bit in the Guinness fan zone as well, because I looked up and I was like, oh, hold on. That's Liner going over the line there. And then it kept going. I was like, oh, this is brilliant. Yeah. And then I won't name him, but there's a certain Scottish legend that I was next to watching the game, and he was disappointed, to say the least. But incredible result, wasn't it?
I only managed to catch the highlights again, because I was at the Allianz. But a wet one for sure.
I was going to say, not only was it an incredible game, it was incredible weather. Yeah. It was. I've never seen anything like it.
It was just in the water polo at the point, didn't it? It was incredible. It was like some of the slides that were going on. It was unreal.
Does the game ever get called off for being waterlogged?
Well, they were discussing on the commentary that they didn't know whether maybe it would end up getting called off because it was that bad.
It was incredible. I've never seen it that bad professionally. But,
adds a different dynamic to the game, though. I love playing in the rain.
Oh yeah.
Like, sliding about, it's a bit unpredictable.
That is like the essence of rugby. Whether you go like grassroots or the professional, like, rainy days, proper battle in the forwards. It's brilliant rugby. It was a quality game, wasn't it?
It is. What I love is usually like the players are hard as nails after, and they're like not putting their coats on. But I literally saw after some of the players like shaking like
they couldn't hide it,
which I did love to see. Now I want to talk about the performance, but there's always been that narrative with Italy of, oh my gosh, they've done it. Do you think now that narrative has changed, or they are a well-established team and they should be winning these matches?
Just because you look back at the Quilter Nations series, you know, they're fronting up against the best team in the world physically. So I think the narrative of, it's a great result for them. They're established contenders in this tournament now. When you're pulling off wins like that, and next week against Ireland, it's no longer a thing of, could they pull off the upset? It's, right, this is a tough game to call here. How are they going to play? Because you look at the pack, and we've always talked about the backs, how good they are, the likes of Men and Cello and Brex. But the pack is really starting to come into its own with the likes of Lamaro and Zambanine, who is just causing all sorts of havoc at the lineup. They've got great players all across the park, 1 through 23, as you see the impact off the bench. So I think they're a quality side now.
Now, you did touch on him, but I want to give a special mention to Tommaso Menoncello. He made over 100 metres and he was rated 8.3 in our player rating. How vital was he in that game?
Oh, he was brilliant. You can see the try he scored on the wing was lethal finishing. And, going into the game, it was almost the battle of the big centre partnerships. You've got Hupalotu and Mencello and Brex. Well, the Young Bucks came out on top of that because they were both firing. The Brex, the kick through to Louis Liner. It was a brilliant performance. And, you look at the conditions, they're very much Scottish conditions. The rain coming down. You'd think they'd be used to it, but it shouldn't be underrated. Even though the Glasgow Warriors pitch, where it's a lot of the players in that Scottish team are, that artificial pitch is very different to that sort of pitch they're playing over there, where it's a heavy game, it's a forwards-dominated game. So the way they were playing the backs and the forwards on that pitch was brilliant, and Mencello was a key part of that, 100%.
He is. Now, Tayo, Scotland didn't necessarily play terribly. Do you think it's panic stations for Scotland, or do you just think it was a case of missed opportunity?
I think, probably missed opportunity, unexpected conditions, game plan maybe has gone out of the window. But I don't think they should be written off too soon.
Yeah,
They've got some amazing players. Finn Russell's a standout. He can transform a game at any moment. So, maybe a bit too soon to write them off.
Yeah, and they'll be coming back fighting next week, so England better watch out. Now, speaking of the positives with Scotland, Jack Dempsey put in a great performance. He got 40 points in fantasy. He scored a try, 8 tackles, 4 defenders beaten. He had a pretty decent game, didn't he?
He made my fantasy team look good because I had some dreadful picks, which I'm sure we'll go through. But he's been a standout for Glasgow this season. And you look at in the Quilter Autumn Nation series, he was a top player, and he's kind of been leading that resurgence for that Scottish pack. And someone just to have an out-and-out 8 for them who can just give them forward ball, especially in those conditions. He really fronted up, and he was a standout in what would be a disappointing performance for them.
Yeah, definitely. Now, shall we take it to France versus Ireland?
Great.
This was my game of the weekend. I loved it.
That opener on a Thursday, I was a bit discombobulated, but I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Of course, Paris kicked it off in true fashion. But the French are just something else. They're so amazing to watch, aren't they?
Oh, it's incredible. And you look at the athletes they have in that pack is incredible because even though they've got the likes of Gouillard, who was absolutely incredible. I mean, he was making the Irishmen look like boys in that lineup. He was bruising carries. The tackling was incredible. You look at the try they scored, him making the break and then dishing it inside to Olivan, who these are great back row players, but the fact they're able to throw them into the second row, and then you got the likes of Jegu and Gelange who have played really well. They're a force to be reckoned with, aren't they? 100%.
Love watching France, especially because they like to kick as well.
Their kicking game's unreal.
That's impressive. I always like to think that I'd be a good rugby kicker. So I need to just link up my hands and my feet.
I was going to say, how did you find it from kicking a football to kicking a rugby ball?
Starting to get it, doing a bit of rugby kicking coaching actually soon. But I've got the mental awareness of where to hit the space. It's just actually getting the ball there. So whenever I watch players kick, I'm like,
What position are you, Tayo?
I've played 13, played 11, played 12, played 8, 6,
Oh, so
7.
at one point I was going to say, oh, you're very much a back. And then,
yeah,
no,
just-
Yeah, very much.
It's like Ben Hur, like Jack
Will
will Granger, isn't it?
Get him as a bomb squad.
Starting out, I think I'm probably going to settle on back row. Yeah, somewhere
Nice.
6, 7 or 8.
Yeah, real hard
so,
players there.
yeah.
That's what we like to hear. Nice.
yeah. But that game, incredible. Watching them players kick. Anton Dupont and who's the number 10?
Jalibert.
Jalibert.
Yeah.
Oh gosh,
Brilliant.
amazing players to
Well,
watch.
and like going in, we were talking about last week. All the debate going in was, could the best 9 and the most informed 10 in the world make it work? Yeah, of course they could make it work. You know what I mean? Jalibert was carving up, and for that, his try was brilliant work. But it was great to see. There's no better feeling than when you've got 2 of the top players in the world and just both at their best. And and the French back line, Deporté was incredible. Bielbarré was just doing Bielbarré things, really, wasn't he? It was
He's unbelievable.
incredible to watch.
Well, speaking of LBB and also Jalibert, so Louis Bielbarré had 52 points in fantasy and Jalibert 51. Did you captain either of them by any chance?
I need to make a public apology. Well, we were doing fantasy tips, and I couldn't believe it, because I think I said last week, there's certain players you have to pick, because everyone's going to pick them. And for some reason, I thought I was going to be the clever. I was like, no, I'll go Kyle Stain, go real differential. And yeah, I had everyone mesh me. You are an idiot. What are you doing? So that was a tough one to do, to say the least. But I had Deporté, so he kind of saved me. But just
There we
about.
go, noted here. So when you do your fantasy, don't listen to Ben.
No, I won't.
Yeah, just Andy, not me.
Someone DM me for some good tips.
Yeah. And I also wouldn't listen to me either. Now, we've got to talk about Ireland. It was a real slow first half, but they did seem to come back a little bit more in the second half. What was your assessment of that game?
I think to me it's tough, because obviously for the Irish side there, it was great. Like for the fans, it was great to see that comeback starting. But I just feel like France knew they had it in the locker in that first half, and it felt more like France taking their foot off the gas more than Ireland really going for it. Although there was some good plays in that second half for them, I think the game was dead and buried in that first half. The way that France pack came out, they secured it and they were firing on all cylinders. And there were some chances in the second half where you think it's a sloppy play, but in a big game they would shore it up. But I think it was probably more France taking it off the gas than Ireland really putting it on, I would say.
I mean, it was a weekend of honest assessments from everyone, because Andy Farrell did say there's a hell of a lot of work to do. Would you guys say that probably rings true after watching that game on Thursday?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, go on.
No, go for it, mate.
Yeah,
I think
Teo.
so. I think France, they were relentless, and they probably just took the foot off the pedal going towards the end of the game. But then, I don't know. I give Ireland some credit, because to be able to defend against a relentless France team for that long, but then also to be able to keep going, like that level of consistency and continuity for 80 minutes, and to turn it up another level, because I mean, France stepping off the gas is still France playing well. So I give them some credit, and I think maybe like you're saying, and like we've discussed, a new batch of players coming in with, I guess, some senior players still in the squad. Yeah, you can see what happens, but.
And I think he was very direct in that sort of post game, which you don't often get from Andy Farrell. But I think that was a lot more almost trying to light a fire with these older players for the next couple of weeks, because, like I said, they've got the talent there. It's just they need some big performances. And I think looking ahead at this weekend, it's a must-win fixture, back in Ireland. So I think it's lighting a fire and trying to get the boys stoked up for next week, I think.
Definitely. Now, I just want to talk about our player rating on the Game Zone. Now, the highest rated player was actually the bench, with 6.5. Is that highlighting how key the bench is and the bench is for Ireland's comeback?
Yeah, I think it was, because, like I said, when they brought that impact on, you could see they were that energy and bolt of energy they needed, because it was very flat going into that coming in from that first half, and there were just some plays where they looked like tired legs, but then they really added an impact. And like I said, there's some merit to be given in going in at half time, actually been able to fight back, because a lot of teams there, when you feel your backs are against the wall, that could have easily turned into a 40, 50 pointer. But they showed some heart, and I think there was a really good impact from them, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
Definitely. Now, we've touched on fancy a little bit, boys, but we're really going to get into it now. So it's time to hear from our Scrumbelievable fancy expert, Andy, aka the Rugby Nose, who's going to let us know who absolutely smashed it in week 1.
So what did we learn from round 1 of the Guinness Six Nations fantasy game? The highest possible score achievable in round 1 was 742 points. My team earned me 532. I think anything above 450-ish is a pretty decent score. I think it's always useful to look through the highest scoring team you possibly could have picked to learn lessons for the next round, so here it is. Tommy Freeman delivered with a try and loads of meters at 13. Henry Arundel's hat-trick was worth 46 points, and Louis Bielbiarré's 2-try masterclass against Ireland was worth 51. Thomas Ramos also got 48, but to get the highest scoring team, we needed to save a French player here, so he's out. In the centres, Tommaso Menincello and Nicolas Deporter were the top scorers with 34 and 36. At 9 and 10, we had a few contenders. For scrum half, before the matches, it really felt like a shootout between Antoine Dupont and Jamie Dobie, who was actually on the wing. But if you gambled on Dobie, it didn't pay off. He finished on just 11 points in the rain, couldn't get into the game. Dupont came out on top with 30 thanks to a try assist. For the 10s, you felt pre-match it was either Jalibert or Ford, and it was close. 55 for George Ford in the end, the highest individual score for the week, so well done if you captained him. 52 for Jalibert just behind. Into the back row, Ben Earl killed it as predicted with 50 points. Jack Dempsey was the only real high point for Scottish players. He got a very respectable 40 points in the rain. Lorenzo Canone got 44 for Italy in a really good showing. Carrying number 8s always score high, and these three delivered all-rounder performances. At lock, the two most hyped options in the game delivered. Tyg Burns' 3 turnovers earned him 39 points, and Mikel Guillard's all-action display against the Irish delivered a very strong 42 points. But on the other end of the budget scale, the Italian locks Canone and Zambonin really delivered this weekend. And then into the front row, and these scores are a good representation of why it's a good idea not to pick the bigger name props with the higher price tags. They tend just not to deliver much bang for your stars. The top scoring players were Michael Milne, who got a try for Ireland off the bench, and the Italian duo of Giacomo Nicotera and Simone Ferrari. Super sub next, and the top scorer was an unlikely one. Ireland's Nick Timoney was worth 99 points off the bench. I think he was only picked by 1 or 2% of players, so well done if you had him as your super sub. So looking ahead to next week, what should you be keeping an eye out for when the teams come out? France has to be where you focus your stars. They're playing Wales in Cardiff this week. They'll probably rotate their squad, but you'd still think they're going to score a lot of points. Yoram Moefana is out, so I would say that Nicolas Deporter is a must pick if he plays in the centre. Scotland against England could end up being a very tight game. Like, you'd expect a reaction from Scotland after losing to Italy. Blair Kinghorn could be back for them. Duan van der Merwe possibly as well. Both very high point scorers last year, and we know Duan loves playing against England. For England, Tommy Freeman might be in the centre again, given the injury to Emmanuel Faye-Waboso. For Ireland against Italy, if Nick Timoney starts for Ireland, I'd say he's a great bet in the back row. He's clearly bringing some good form in. Ange Capuzzo and Stephen Varney are returning for Italy as well, so there could be some more Italian options to choose from. And I think after they beat Scotland, a lot of players will be really tempted to back Italy against Ireland, but historically, they don't do well in Dublin, so I would be a little bit hesitant. We will see how the teams look when they come out though. Alright, that's it from me. We'll see you in the comments where we can talk more fantasy.
Thank you, Andy. And if you guys want more fantasy rugby advice, he'll be live streaming on the official Guinness Mens Six Nations Twitch channel every Friday at 6 p.m. So fantasy chat, boys. How did you do, Ben?
It was tough. I'll say that. Like I said, I need to apologise. The biggest error of all was, like I said, the LBB pick, going without him. You just can't do it because so many people are picking it. You just need to have him there. And even if he has a stinker, at least everyone's in the same boat with you.
What was the rationale why you didn't pick him?
I just...
Be different.
Yeah, should have, try and be clever. And then now I just look like the biggest idiot in the Six Nations. But apart from that, there were a couple of bright spots. It threw me off, actually. I need to issue another apology because I got on you and told everyone to captain Waboso, and then guttingly...
You told me.
Yeah, I was going to say, the death stares were coming over, but managed to just bring in Arundel at the last minute to make up for it. And like I said, a hat trick against us, which was brilliant. And then Ben Earl captaincy, which we got on you last week and said he's the perfect fantasy player, and he proved why. And he even got shift to centre, which is, like I said, racking up the points, which was brilliant. But
On the bench?
Oh, don't start. Don't start, man. Don't start.
Yeah, Pollock was on my bench.
Yeah, I think he was on everyone's bench, to be fair. But well, you just think he's the perfect super sub. Then he gets on the pitch. And it's the one time, I think it's the only time I'll say, I kind of wish he scored against us. You know what I mean? Like, if we're going to concede the try, just give him the try. Don't make it penalty try. Just give me a bright spot. At least my fantasy could have done well. But
the classic thing's going to happen now. Everyone's like not going to choose him, and he's just going to absolutely like have a storm.
like 2 tries off the bench against Scotland, and then it's brutal. But that's fantasy, isn't it? It's the highs and lows. But no, it was good. Yeah.
Yeah, bit of a disclosure. I haven't got fantasy, so after this podcast, I'm going to sign up 100%.
Oh, perfect.
Won't come to you for tips though.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Not
I'd
me.
avoid
Listen
it.
to Andy.
Yeah.
Andy's your man. And if you want to prove you know more than us, and you most probably do, then don't forget to join our Scrumbelievable Fantasy League by clicking the link in the video so you can be a part of it and maybe take the Scrumbelievable Fantasy Crown. It's now time for our Rising Player section, sponsored by BKT. And you may have noticed we've got this big, beautiful, shiny trophy here, and that will be exclusively for players who will be getting their first cap throughout the Six Nations in 2026. Now, last year, the winner was Sam Prendergast, so you only have to look at his success to see just what these players go on to achieve. And boys, we've got a few names here that we're going to go through, and I want to get your thoughts on who you think might be the front runners.
This is going to be a tough one. You want a young talent coming through. You look at the quality in the under 20 Six Nations. Some of the talent it's bringing through is unreal. So this is going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
It's going to be a tough one. Now, we're going to keep it in the family first. So one of the contenders this year is not Sam Prendergast, it's actually Cian Prendergast. So you never know, it might be a Prendergast 2 years in a row.
Yeah, well, they're making a run at the best brother set in rugby at the moment, aren't they? You know, move over the Barrett brothers. You look at the way we play.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah,
That's a
maybe not yet,
bold
but
statement there, Ben.
But no, you look in that France game and stuff. He was one of the bright spots in what was overall a tough game for Ireland. But I think he's really solid in the back row. And you look at where Ireland are now. They're trying to bring in that new talent in the back row and looking at the successors for the likes of Josh van der Fleer or maybe Caelan Doris, Jack Conan. So someone like him's got a real chance this year to make an impact, I think.
Yeah, we're going to keep it in Ireland. Another one that we've got on the list is Nick Timoney. Now, he did actually make quite an impact coming off the bench on the weekend. What are your thoughts on him?
Well, I like I said, I think quality player, and when their backs were against the wall in that France game, and you needed just a bit of momentum, you needed some energy, because going into halftime they were feeling flat, and you could feel. Yeah. I was on my couch, but you could feel it through the screen. But I think a great impact player, and someone that if he keeps bringing in that super sub role and keeps getting minutes off the bench, he could be another real contender.
He is. Now, Tayo, I'm going to come to you because I know you gave a little bit of a shout out earlier because you were championing our fellow Welshman, Josh McLeod.
Yes.
So you quite like the look of him.
I do, and I think I've seen Wales lose twice. I went and watched the under-20s game against England. They got beat.
Oh,
Tayo, come on.
They got beat again. So I feel like Wales needs a bit of a shout out. But I like him. 29 years old, so a bit more experience. Talking to some of the fans outside of the game on Saturday, they were saying it's a young squad. So I think, someone with a bit of experience. He's been around for a while. Hopefully he can bring that into the team and then, see what can happen with Wales moving forward from this Six Nations. But he's my shout. And he's a Drake fan.
Oh, there we go.
As well.
Done your research, Tayo. Jacqueline Masters is a Drake fan. Now, so I'm going to give a shout out to a fellow Englishman here, Guy Pepper. Now, he's really got to be up there to be a contender. Also, quite shocking. I feel like he's really established within the team. The fact that he qualifies for this award is pretty impressive.
Yeah, I can believe. You look at how stacked that back row is. The way he's been able to carve out that number 6 jerseys, unreal. You know, like so Sam Underhill, Tom Curry, Pollock, they're all rotating out. But his run from that Bath run to the Prem final last year, he was incredible and really instrumental for them. And since he's put on that England shirt, he's just been incredible in that back row, hasn't he?
Yeah, no, it's a good show. I'm a Guy Pepper fan. Anyone that's, to be fair, in the back row, 6, 7, 8, I'm just trying to watch and see what I can take away from them. But he's definitely in for a show.
Another contender is Nucci. I know you're a big fan, Ben.
Incredible player. Incredible. And, we're saying, some of the big calls this year about when you have the likes of a legend like Aldrit that didn't make the cut. Well, that's why France feels so comfortable leaving a player like that out, is that because they've got the likes of Nucci in that back row. It's incredible impact off the bench. Former captain of the under-20s, all-round quality player. I think if he's in that super sub role for France, where they're bringing on some of these animals, because it's a stacked back row they have, if he can carve out a place there, he could be definitely in for a shout this year.
He is. And Ben, we're going to bring it back to another Welsh player, Steve's, he's really come into this squad and made a bit of an impact. And also, what a lovely story.
Oh, it's brilliant, isn't it? And, you know, like I say, in that role when he's coming on, he's bringing a bit of energy, and whether he could be definitely in for a starting place as the tournament progresses. Someone that has really impact, you know, at the breakdown can cause some real damage. So he might be the only shout we have for a bit of silverware in the West Ham this year. But no, a big fan of it. It's not really like, you know, bringing him in at the autumn. I think he could have a real impact for us at Six Nations, definitely.
Yeah, he's a real workhorse, isn't he? And finally, let's touch on Regis as well.
Well, you know, in that French front row, they're looking for new talent to bring in, especially with the, you know, the tragic loss of Antonio from the squad. You know, all praise up for him. But you know, as they're bringing in that new talent, he could be a real talisman. And as they're bringing that through, I think he could be a real impact player for them this year, definitely.
Well, we're going to be keeping track on all the qualifying players who were in contention for winning this year's BKT Rising Player Awards. BKT are the official tyre partner for Six Nations Rugby and a global leader in the off-highway tyre industry. Committed to growing together in sport, that is the foundation of the BKT Rising Player Award, celebrating players who've made the significant step to playing for their country, fostered a teamwork mentality and performed at the highest level. Now, boys, it's time for our Scrumbelievable weekly dose of nonsense. Not that there isn't enough already in this programme already. But with the Winter Olympics kicking off last week in Milan, we thought we would see which of the Guinness Mens Six Nations players would be most suited to each of these Winter Olympic sports.
Nice.
Okay?
Bring it on. Bring it on.
So I've got 8 different disciplines here. And as a team, we've got to agree which player would be best suited to each of these sports.
Nice.
I have been putting my thinking cap on and I've come up with some theories and ideas, so see if you agree. We've got downhill skiing, figure skating, curling, ice hockey, skeleton, snowboarding freestyle, speed skating, and then bobsleighing. Okay,
Right, here we go.
I got to be honest, I did have to do like a little
Check
little
on what
yeah,
these are.
like, ooh, what's this one again? Okay, so downhill skiing. I've been told, this is what my little Google ChatGPT told me, my little bit of research, is it's basically getting from A to B as fast as possible. So I was thinking maybe like a winger.
I was going to say, you'd think surely someone like Faber Boso darting in between those sort of gates there. Surely
I feel like you need
like
someone
that.
heavy though. Downhill skiing, you're just flying down that slope, aren't you?
Oh, but you have a prop on those skis. That's going to be carnage.
Yeah, I'd rather, this is what I'm going to come to later. I'm seeing prop on the ice doing a bit of figure skating. That's what I want to see. May not be the best, but it'll definitely be the best to
I was
watch.
like, that would be a sight to see.
Well, this was my thought. I was thinking Lewis Liner because he plays in northern Italy as well. So it's close to the Dolomites. So I was also thinking on
You
brand.
might have that experience there as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
So maybe are we going to
Good
go with
shout.
him? I
Yeah.
see his little
Yeah, and you
blonde
look at that
mullet
try you had the weekend.
speeding
Yeah, you
down.
can see wind blowing behind it, surely.
Beautiful stuff. Right, well, there we go. That was an easy agree. So we're going Lewis Liner, the downhill skier.
I like it.
Love that. Almost kind of rhymes. Okay, next up, figure skating.
Oh, here we go.
What are we thinking for this? Now, I mean, I know I don't think it would be the first thought, but like, wouldn't you love to see Alice Genge figure
I was-
skating?
I don't think he'd like to see it, but if you want people tuning in, I just want to see I just want to see if he could stand on the ice.
Oh my God, please.
I
Please,
would
can we
pay
make
to see that,
happen?
100%.
Yeah.
I was going to say, it's supposed to be a debate. I can't think of any better person than Genge to get on there.
I mean, if I was like going to do it properly, I'd probably think of like an LBB, light on his feet, quite graceful.
gonna
But
say
no one
Anthony
wants
Dupont.
that.
Yeah. Oh, DuPont's a
Dupont.
good shot. Yeah. The magician.
Number 9s
as well.
are a bit, graceful, light on their feet.
We've not come to it yet, but I've actually got DuPont for the skeleton. But what should
You
we
have
go?
done your research
Oh
on
no,
this, haven't
I've
you?
taken this. This is the only thing in the entire show I've taken very seriously. The rest of it, not so much. I'm joking. I love it all. So what are we going to go with?
I think I would pay to see Genge put on a bit of skates on that. I think it's got to be.
Go again. And his outfit's got to be as tight as possible. Loads of diamantes, please.
He's going to be calling in next week and saying that this can't be happening.
Okay, right. Genj, you're the figure skater. Next up, we're going for curling. This is my absolute favourite Winter Olympic
We were
sport.
watching it last night. We were watching it before the
Same.
Super Bowl last night.
I love it.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about it. It feels like it would be, a bit boring to be watching it. Like,
It's the suspense, isn't it?
Yeah, I was like, I can't turn off.
Have you ever done it? I've actually done it before.
Oh, no,
There's a place in London you can go and do it. It's so much fun.
Oh no, I did.
never tried
I've done ice skating twice, and I generally spent more time on my backside than my feet. I was like, I can't do it. Yeah. Anything on ice, keep me away from it. I
Okay,
can't do it.
fair enough. Well, who are we going to go with? I feel like, so if we're thinking from a Team GB point of view, the Scots are all over it with the curling.
Yeah, true.
So I feel like we've got to have a Scot. And then for that reason, I feel like, because there's a lot of like decision-making tactics, I feel like you've got to go for a 10. So maybe Finn Russell?
But the question, who's his partner? Who are you going to link him up with?
Oh, maybe we could just do like hybrid or like hybrid team of 10s from like various teams.
Maybe like a bit. To be
So
fair,
we could have like Finn Russell, George Ford, Jalabert. Who else could we have?
That someone might turn curling into a box off. You put Russell and Jalabert in. I think they'd somehow find a new creative way to do it. That could be the messy option. Yeah.
Is that what we're going with?
Yeah, I think 10.
Yeah,
I feel like how we've interpreted this game is not how the producer intended us to interpret this game.
I was going to say, and the people like curlers outside our logic, they're going to be saying, these guys have never seen this. Yeah, they're way off.
We haven't got a clue. But there we go. That's our curling team.
Lock it in. Nice.
Next up, we're going for an entire team for this one. So ice hockey. Who do you think, what nation do you think would be the kings of ice hockey?
I think the way they were playing on the weekend, the bruisers in that Italian pack, I don't know anyone that's going to want to go against them on the ice, genuine. What do you
I'm going to
think?
go with your rationale. I'm going to go Scotland because Sweden are quite a good ice hockeying nation, right? And Scotland and Sweden are quite close together.
Oh,
So let's go.
I like the logic.
I'm going to go Scotland.
You're going to go Scotland.
like it.
Are we going to have to toss? We're going to have to toss a coin for this one.
Yeah.
So what is it? We got Scotland or Italy.
Well, we saw the Scots on the shaky condition. You know, if it froze over on
this is
Saturday,
right. Well,
we
in
could've-
that, and again, it's coming back to it's a home Olympic, so Italy,
Yeah,
you're having
give 'em
it.
anything.
Okay, then the next one we've got the skeleton. Now, do you know what the skeleton is, boys?
Random. Can I say that I don't think that should be an Olympic sport? Or does that get cut?
What's your rationale,
It's
Tayo?
just someone sliding down. I used to do it when I was a kid on a
You've
hill on a
done
snow.
it?
No,
Oh.
on snow days. I used to get like take
like
the wheels off my skateboard and then just slide down the
I
hill.
think it looks a little bit more scary.
Is it nothing where you just like lie down and then
No, aren't they
Flat,
face,
yeah,
their
your
face
face flat.
Oh,
to
what?
the
You're going
ice.
head
head first, and your
yeah.
face is so close to the ice.
Oh, what?
Yeah, no, you couldn't pay me to do it. Honest to God.
Well,
Yeah,
with your experience, who are you thinking of?
Crikey. Again, someone heavy. Someone
see,
that you
I've
can
got
put down
DuPont
there.
because he's actually a big, like he's quite a big.
Is he quite big?
limp.
He is
Yeah,
stocky.
he's stocky.
Yeah, when we.
But he's also got that like because you do a run up, I think, or
Yeah,
do you
yeah, you
not?
do.
Yeah,
And
so
then
you've
you
got
jump
that
down
like
on-
speed
Yeah, he's got the
as
pace
well,
and then-
bit of agility.
I couldn't believe because
round
when we were at
corners.
the Guinness Six Nations launch and we were interviewing it, it was like, oh my god, he's
Yeah,
actually like
he's
properly
French.
built. Yeah,
He
he's put me
really
to
is.
shame there. But
Yeah.
that could be a good shout actually.
He's got to have one, isn't he?
Yeah, I was going to say we
DuPont.
can't have a team.
There we
Like
go,
him.
DuPont the skeleton.
Nice.
I don't know.
Can tell we've done our research.
Yeah. Okay, next up, snowboarding freestyle.
We need some
So someone-
creativity.
yeah, who's like, quite all the tricks and things like that. Bit of a showman. I'm thinking Lewis Rees-Zammit.
Yeah, and he's probably the one player out of this thing I think you could convince to do
Yeah,
one of these
yeah,
sports.
yeah.
I like that. That's a good shout. Yeah.
Freestyle snowboarding. I snowboard myself.
Oh, is
So
it?
I used to play a game called SSX Tricky.
Mm.
Anyone who's like 30 and above, they'll know this game on PlayStation. But you used to get this character that had this headband and this spiky blonde hair. So I'm thinking Henry
Pollock.
Pollock. Yeah.
Oh,
God.
that's
Yeah,
actually
that's-
a
that makes
shout.
so much sense.
That's such a good shout.
Yeah, Pollock's my shout.
There we
Oh,
go.
I like
I'm
that.
sorry, but
Yeah, I was
England
just
wins
saying-
again on that
yeah.
one. Pollock it is. Okay, next step, we've got speed skating. So we need someone who's fast.
This could be. I mean, you look at LBB here. This has got.
Well,
to
I
be
mean,
him.
what have I already given him? No, we haven't given him anything. There we go. This could be LBB.
I was going to say, yeah, and the way that 0-60 speed he had on the against Ireland, as soon as he caught the ball, it's like he's at top speed
Don't
already.
fancy a rundle?
Oh yeah, Arundel.
Could be a good shout.
Yeah, there's too much English. We need it. We need to
Yeah, we're
spread
going to
it
go
out.
LBB.
Yeah.
LBB's
LBB.
taking the title on that one. And then finally, we're going the bobsleigh team. Now, I do just have to say, Cool Runnings is my absolute favourite film
All
of all
time,
time.
all time film.
So
isn't it?
good.
So good.
Change
fact-
bobsleighing. I don't even know what it was
Honestly,
before that.
it's so good. Now, my thought process was England's second row, because there's 4 in a bobsleigh team, right? But then they always just have a constant rotation of a 4th player that you could just like throw into the bobsleigh.
Yeah.
What do you have? Do you
get
have a
that.
driver, a brakeman,
Yeah, and then just.
and 2 pushers?
This is all
I
knowledge
think-
from
Is
Cool
that
Runnings,
it?
I was
isn't
going to say,
it?
yeah. you've done your
remember.
research.
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah,
quite
I
remember
think
the
that's what you've got.
specifics, but that's impressive.
Sounds about right.
I think this was the one I'd done the most research for.
Oh, go on.
actually, yeah. And I thought, you look at what, if you need 4 a team, get that TikTok quartet of the England
Genius.
shot, surely.
Yeah.
Pollock, Stewart, was it Freeman, and was it Finn Smith?
Finn Smith, yeah.
Finn Smith. I just feel like they'd love it. If anyone fit that sort of like cool running, sort of like
Feel
the
the
full.
rhythm.
I can see it 100%.
Oh, brilliant.
Please.
It's got to be,
That'd
yeah.
be
They would love it. I could see them doing it as well.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah,
could
yeah,
convince them for that.
I could too. Yeah,
Brilliant.
well, I don't know about you, but I think we have just done an excellent job there on choosing all of our Guinness Mens Six Nations players for each Olympic sport. All right then, boys, the time has come where I want to get your predictions for the upcoming weekend's fixtures.
Pressure's on, yeah. The pressure is on.
How did you fare last week, Ben?
I
Did
think
you get them all right?
I think I did all right. I think I was closer on the France game. Oh no, I had Scotland win. I had Scotland win. Yeah, so that my credibility's gone through the floor a bit. But no, we'll bounce back this week. Bounce back, I think.
Cool. Right, well, did you make any predictions yourself, Tayo? Last
I made a
weekend?
prediction whilst I was at the Northampton, Northampton watching the under-20s. When I saw England turn it on, I thought, yeah, now the men's team have probably seen this. They've got to turn it on. So
Yeah, the pressure.
in England win, and then Thursday night I was at training, so I was talking to a couple of the boys, so predicted the win on
The France
Thursday
win. Yeah.
for France. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well,
Touching on the under-20s, though, I just want to say I was really impressed by that Welsh under-20s team. I know we didn't win.
there's talent coming through here, isn't
Yeah.
it? There's promise for us, isn't it? There's
There
promise
is.
for us.
But that was a brilliant game.
I
So
was
good to watch.
like right down to the wire as well, and all credit to those boys in the England camp. The comeback and the character they showed. We were saying about the Italy game being tough conditions. It wasn't great down in Northampton, was
Not
it?
at all.
Yeah.
Pouring down with rain. It's like all strategy goes out the window, and they just passed it to, I can't remember what his name is, the big prop. Just smash it
yeah.
consistently.
Yeah, there's
and
some
then
big
they broke
boys
through.
in that England
Yeah.
under-20s. I tell you what, I actually love watching the under-20s. So if anybody is not following, you should get on it now. Right, let's get to each of the games. So we're going to start with Ireland versus Italy. Tayo, I'm going to come to you first. Who do you think is going to win that one?
I think the way Italy played, yeah, I'm going with Italy. But I think it's going to be a close one. I think Andy Farrell's going to have a couple of words with his players, shake them up a bit. And yeah, you can't write the Irish off. You can't. So close one, but I'm going to give it to Italy.
Love that.
I think this is one of the toughest games to call of the weekend.
I'm
because
excited for this one.
and Italy got all the momentum going into this, and they're going to be right up for it. I feel like if it was at a neutral venue, I'd be more inclined to go Italy. But I just feel that Andy Farrell and the experience they have there, I'd almost like to be proved wrong, but I think I'm going to have to go Ireland. Just experience, and this to me is a must-win game for them, and the experience there, I think they'll just edge it. But I'm the same as you. I think it'll be a close game, big physical battle.
It will be a good one. Now, we're going to take it up to Scotland, the Calcutta Cup. Scotland versus England.
Nervous.
No,
Nervous.
England win. Yeah, I think the run that England are on, it's going to be really, really hard to stop them. I think maybe the one team that will give them a good game, no disrespect to the other nations at all, will be France. But yeah, England are flying.
Yeah, the depth they've got, and like I said, that bench and stuff they've got, they're bringing on the POM squad as we dread. But my heart wants to say Scottish win, and I would pay to see it as well. But I just, like you said, I think it's going to be too much for them. And it could be a snowball effect for Scotland, and like I said, they're going to be right up for it, must win. And Calcutta Cup games are always straight, like something weird always happens, and it usually does end up going Scotland's way.
Yeah, right.
But I think I'm going to go England win. I think. But I pray I'm wrong.
Hopefully it'll be a good match. But what I must say, though, it is one of my favourite things of the Guinness Mens Six Nations is the Scottish singing the national anthem in Murrayfield. It literally makes my
It's
hair
goosebumps,
stand up.
isn't it? Yeah.
So good, so good. Now, finally, Ben, I'm going to go to Tayo first, and we'll come to you last. But on Sunday, Wales are facing France at home in the Principality Stadium. Tayo, what are you going for that match?
Be kind.
I'm going to say, like, any advice to the Welsh team, just do the basics. Just do the basics, and I think you'll save yourself a lot of misery. I think maybe acknowledge that it's going to be a tough game, but give 100%. And yeah, it's gonna be a France win, but give everything you can. Give the fans something to watch.
It's a great pep talk, in fairness.
It is.
Yeah.
Get him in there, Steve. Get him in that
But yeah,
chair.
France win, unfortunately. Sorry.
We're doing the unthinkable. We're going to do it now.
Optimistic.
It's always the thing, like going into the. I think on here last week, I predicted us to lose by 28, and after I felt terrible about doing it. But like on the morning of the game, I put a message in the Counterruck chat. I said, we're going to do it today. We're going to do it. I did. I said, I got a gut feeling. We're going to do the unthinkable. And then as soon as the final whistle, everyone just resending it like, oh yeah, where's this now? But like I said, as much as I'd love to think of any other outcome, I think it's got to be France win. And I don't want to put a number on it this week. I'm just going to say France win. I don't want to put a margin on it because I think it has the potential to get out of hand. But like I said, a win for it, just try and put out the best performance we can and try and keep it close for as long as possible and hold on. But French win.
Well, that being said, guys, thinking of those matches, thinking of those teams, who is one player that you are definitely going to pick in your fantasy team this week?
Right. I made the mistake last week. I'm not doing the mistake again this week. LBB is a must-pick player and must-captain player for me. You know, the threat he brings, and he's just creating something out of nothing. You look at that try he scored against Ireland, where you think, you know, Prendergast went the ankle tap and he's down, but all of a sudden he's back up and he's torching the wing and he's getting the try. He can create something out of nothing, and him or Ramos, I think, to me, they're both going in my team. I think you want to load up on the French backs for this Wales game. I think LBB must pick for me.
Yeah, LBB as well. I didn't know much about him before coming into this tournament. I don't know if he was underrated or I was just living under a rock. One or the other. But yeah, incredible player. I've been watching his highlight reel on YouTube, wishing I was that quick and fast.
He's still so young as well. Also,
amazing.
we love him because of the scrum cap and Scrumbelievable.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, fan of the show, surely.
yeah, we gave him that.
Yeah.
And if you think you can do a better job than the boys at home, then don't forget to head over to the Guinness Mens Six Nations Game Zone to set your prediction picks. And after the game, you can check out the player rating feature to choose your top players. So boys, that is it for this week's episode of Scrumbelievable. Did you enjoy yourself?
Brilliant. Had a great time.
Loved it. First podcast I've been on, so yeah, thank you for welcoming me in and making it, enjoyable.
Pleasure, mate. Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting to see how some of the players react to our Winter Olympics picks.
And whether we'll see you again next week, Ben.
Yeah, I might just go into hiding after these two Wales games, I think.
And a massive thank you to Andy for imparting all of his fantasy rugby knowledge with us. And don't forget to check out his channels to keep up to date. And don't forget to set your fantasy lineup and make sure you join the Scrumbelievable Fantasy Rugby League. And if you're watching on YouTube, please hit the like button. We will see you next Tuesday for more nonsense and most probably more wrong predictions.